Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, a world of hyper-specialization. A masterclass in how to bend game mechanics to create what might be one of the most powerful character builds in a certain legendary fantasy game. We're talking about the Sampire.
It's a great name because it's not just a cute nickname. It literally tells you what it is. You're taking the disciplined warrior ethos of a samurai or Bushido, and you're mashing it together with the dark, self-healing power of a vampire, which comes from necromancy. It's a true hybrid.
And that's our mission today, right? To figure out the alchemy here. How do you blend these two things that seem like opposites, honor and darkness, and get a character that's basically a self-sustaining tank that can solo some of the toughest stuff in the game?
Well, the key insight, and this is what we really want you to take away, is that this build just completely flips the script on what survival means.
How so?
A normal warrior, they think about armor, shields, healing potions. The Sampire's defense is its offense. The core loop is that your survival is directly tied to your damage output. If you stop hitting things, you die. It's that simple.
So wait, if I'm surrounded by like 10 monsters, I'm actually in a better spot than if I'm just fighting one.
Precisely. That's exactly it. You survive by leeching life back, and that comes from two places. The vampiric embrace form you get from necromancy, and then whatever life leech you have on your weapon.
So more targets means more hits.
More hits means more life leech, which means more healing. It becomes this incredible self-sustaining engine.
Okay, so that's the basic rule of survival. Let's talk about building the engine itself, the skills. If you're a learner just starting out, what's the absolute non-negotiable foundation?
You've got 4 pillars that have to be there. First, your core combat skills. They have to be maxed. We're talking 120 in your weapon skill, swords, macing, whatever you pick, and 120 in tactics.
And tactics isn't just a damage boost, right?
Yeah.
It does more.
Yeah, it's not just passive. It enables your special moves. It boosts their damage. It's absolutely essential.
Okay, so that's the engine. Now for the hybrid stuff. Necromancy. Why 100? Why not just enough to cast the spell you need?
That's a great question. You need 100 necromancy because that's the magic number for keeping vampiric embrace up reliably. You need to be able to recast it in a panic, and you need it to stay on through a long fight.
Because without that form,
all you are is a warrior with a massive, massive hole in your defenses. You lose all that baseline life leech.
The massive defensive weakness. Let's talk about Bushido then. This feels like the real secret weapon of the build.
Bushido is what elevates it from good to transcendent. You want somewhere between 50 and 120 points because it unlocks 2 game-changing mechanics. First, you can now parry with a 2-handed weapon.
Which is huge for defense.
Huge! But the second thing is the most important. It gives you the ability to counterattack.
Okay, counterattack. How does that compare to just, swinging a big axe for a ton of damage? Isn't it risky to rely on getting hit first?
See, it's not a trade-off, it's an acceleration. Counterattack triggers the instant you successfully block an attack. And the magic part, the truly incredible part, is that this extra attack completely bypasses your normal swing timer.
The free hit.
A free full damage hit, which means free instant healing. Every time you block, you're potentially generating a massive burst of damage and health. It breaks the whole pacing of combat in your favor.
So the goal isn't to avoid damage, it's to leverage the damage you block to deal more damage, which in turn heals you more. That's a brilliant feedback loop.
And all your main attacks, whirlwind for groups, double strike for single targets, armor ignore for bosses, they all feed right into that loop. It lets you sustain against things that would just flatten a normal character.
Okay, but there's always a cost. You mentioned a weakness with the necromancy form. What's the price you pay for all this self-healing?
The price is steep. The second you activate Vampiric Embrace, you are hit with a brutal -5% fire resist penalty. It's not optional.
A whole quarter of your fire resistance just gone.
Gone. And if you don't make up for that with your gear, a single high-level fire spell will just evaporate you instantly.
Which brings us to another key skill, resisting spells. A lot of Sampire templates have this really high, like 80 to 120. That feels like a lot of points to spend on defense for a damage build. Why is it so mandatory?
It's insurance. It stops things like paralysis, mana drain,
Yeah.
but there's one single spell that makes it absolutely critical. It's called Blood Oath.
Blood Oath, the damage reflection curse. Since the Sampire is doing insane rapid fire damage, that reflection must be devastating.
It's a build killer. Without high resisting spells to reduce that reflective damage, Blood Oath will use your own power against you. You'll kill yourself in 2 or 3 swings. So resist spells is there to make that reflection survivable.
Fascinating. And before we get to customization, a quick note on optimization. The guides all recommend a female elf. Why so specific?
Yeah, it's two little things that add up. The elf race gives you a flat plus 20 mana bonus, which you definitely need for all the spells you're casting.
And the gender part.
That's a funny little bit of game lore. Certain high-level demons, like Samidar or a succubus, actually deal bonus damage to male characters. So being female is a real, tangible survival boost in some of the hardest areas of the game.
Okay, that foundation is incredibly solid.
Yeah.
So now we've got the skeleton. Let's talk about putting some meat on the bones. Customization. This is where you tailor the build for what you're hunting.
Exactly. Once those core skills are locked in, you have some flex points to play with. This is where you start plugging in skills based on, say, your weapon choice or your goals.
For pure damage, the obvious one is anatomy, right? A straight percentage increase.
Yep. Anatomy is just a clean, linear damage boost.
The one that seemed to change the whole feel of the build is chivalry. That's a huge skill point investment. Why is it so vital for some templates?
Because chivalry handles what necromancy can't. Raw, focused damage against big, tough targets, especially ones you don't have a specific Slayer weapon for.
You don't even need it maxed out, do you?
Not at all. With just 60 points, you get amazing utility. Consecrate weapon for changing your damage type. Divine Fury for a speed buff.
But the real prize is Enemy of One.
That's the sledgehammer. Enemy of One lets you pick a whole category of monster, say, dragons, and you get up to an 82% damage modifier against them. If you're fighting a boss without a Slayer weapon, this is how you get your damage into the stratosphere.
Let's get into the biggest customization choice of all. Your weapon skill. Swords, macing, or fencing. This isn't just about what kind of pointy stick you use, is it?
No, not at all. It's a whole strategic decision. Swordsmanship is kind of the default. It's the most beginner-friendly, great weapon selection, and you get the double axe, which has the best whirlwind in the game for clearing out huge groups of monsters.
And it synergizes with lumberjacking.
Right. Very solid choice.
Then you have macing, which feels like it's for the person who just wants to see the biggest numbers possible.
Macing has the highest base damage, period. Plus, you get these amazing debuffs, stamina drain, swing speed slows, great for controlling a fight. The catch is that maces are slow, really slow. So you need a huge investment in SSI on your gear and a massive stamina pool to swing fast.
And fencing is on the other end of the spectrum.
Exactly. Fencing is the speedster, super low stamina requirements to hit max swing speed, which makes managing your resources much easier. It's great for group support. The trade-off, of course, is lower base damage, so it's a choice. Big, slow hits or a flurry of faster, utility-focused strikes.
But no matter what you pick, the engine runs on one fuel, stamina. What are the magic numbers you need to hit?
Stamina is everything. You're aiming for somewhere between 150 and 186 stamina, all depending on your weapon's base speed. And here's the key. You often want to overcap it.
Overcap. Why would I want more than I need to hit max speed?
Because when a monster hits you, you lose a little bit of stamina temporarily. If that dip takes you below your weapon speed threshold, your swing speed just tanks.
And if your swing speed tanks, your healing tanks.
And then you're dead. Overcapping gives you a buffer. It means you can take a big hit and keep swinging at maximum speed, which means you keep healing at maximum speed.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's get into the deep optimization. This is what separates a good Sampire from a truly dominant one, hitting those critical caps on your gear.
That's right. This is all about modifiers. You've got three main stats you have to get right. First, HCI, or hit chance increase. You need at least 40%, capped at 45%. You need your swings to land.
Of course. No hit, no leech. Next up, speed.
SSI, swing speed increase. You need 35% to 40% from your gear and jewelry to make sure your weapon is hitting as fast as the game allows. And last, because you're spamming abilities, you need 40% LMC, lower mana costs, so you don't run out of juice.
Okay, all of that makes perfect sense. Maximize your chance to hit, your speed, and your resource efficiency. But then we get to the most bizarre, counterintuitive rule of the entire build. The rule about DCI. Defense chance increase.
Yes. This is the optimization trap that gets almost everybody. Your natural instinct is to stack as much DCI as possible, right? More defense is good.
Of course.
But for a Sampire, you absolutely, under no circumstances, should not go over 30% DCI.
Hang on, wait. You're telling me that making myself harder to hit actually makes me less likely to survive? How does that work?
That's the beautiful, brilliant piece of design that makes this build so special. Remember counterattack. It only triggers when you successfully block an attack.
Right.
If your DCI gets too high, you stop blocking attacks and you start evading them instead. You just dodge out of the way entirely.
And if you evade, you don't block.
And if you don't block, counterattack doesn't fire. You lose the free hit, and more importantly, you lose the free healing.
Wow. That is genuinely amazing. You're deliberately making yourself slightly easier to hit just to make sure your main engine keeps firing.
You're sacrificing a little bit of passive defense to maximize an active, synergistic offensive-defense loop. It's about optimizing the whole system, not just one stat on a spreadsheet.
Less defense means more offense, which means better survival. Incredible. Okay, so for weapons then, we know a hit life leech is pointless because of Vampiric Embrace. What do you need on your weapon?
You absolutely want a Slayer property if you can get it. That's your 200% damage boost. And then you need a good amount of hit Mana Leech, HML, and critically, hit Stamina Leech, HSL.
HSL's the key, isn't it? That's what keeps that overcapped stamina pool full.
Precisely. HSL is constantly refilling the tank that powers your swing speed. If you neglect it, you'll find your stamina dropping in a fight, your speed will crater, and your shielding will vanish.
So gear is perfect, stats are capped, now we're in the fight. There has to be a strict rotation or priority system. What is the one ability that has to be up no matter what?
Counterattack, always. It has to be active 100% of the time. The second that ability drops, your survivability plummets. You go from being an unstoppable tank to just a guy in armor.
And before you even land the first hit on a boss, what do?
You cast Honor. You have to honor the target before you do any damage. That starts building up perfection stacks. At full stacks, it's a massive plus 100% damage bonus and a huge plus 1,000 luck bonus. It is absolutely non-negotiable for big single targets.
You layer on the other buffs, like Divine Fury from Chivalry.
Right, Divine Fury gives you a swing speed boost, which just helps the whole machine run faster and smoother.
With all these damage bonuses flying around, Slayer, Honor, Enemy of One, they just stack up forever.
No, and that's another key optimization point. All of those big damage modifiers, they do stack, but they hit a hard cap at 200%.
So if I'm using a Reptile Slayer weapon against a dragon, I'm already at the 200% cap.
You're already there. In that case, you still use Honor, but you're using it for the luck bonus and the defensive properties, not for more damage, because you're already maxed out.
And just to bring it all back together, the synergy between Divine Fury and keeping DCI low is what makes the counterattack engine scream.
That's the perfect loop. Divine Fury makes you act faster, and low DCI means you block more often, which means more counterattacks. It all feeds into itself.
We've built the machine, we've tuned it. Where do we take it? Where does the Sampire really dominate?
Its greatest strength is fighting crowds, multiple enemies at once. That's where it shines, because the healing loop just gets stronger and stronger the more things are hitting you. It's probably the best champion spawn clearing build in the entire game.
And the sources give some great examples of what a properly geared Sampire can take on.
Oh, absolutely. For starter content, you can easily handle bosses like Barracoon or Dreadhorn. For mid-tier stuff, you're looking at Navar Night Eyes, Semidar, and when you're fully optimized, you can solo some of the hardest endgame content, like the Roof and Shadow Guard or the Dark Fathers in Doom.
We talked about Blood Oath being a huge threat. What's the quick and dirty trick for dealing with that?
Enchanted Apples. They're a simple consumable item, but eating one instantly removes Blood Oath. It's a lifesaver. Keep a stack on you at all times. Also, a quick tip, using a Swamp Dragon mount with Barding gives you a free 12-20% damage reduction, which really helps take the edge off that fire penalty.
But every build has its kryptonite. What breaks the Sampire? What are the hard counters?
Anything that breaks that core Life Leech engine. So first, any monster that is just plain immune to Life Leech. Second, monsters that have corrupted Life Leech, which actually makes your leeching damage you instead of heal you. If you can't leech, you can't live.
And anything that interrupts your resources.
Yep. Heavy attack speed slows are deadly because they kill your healing. And of course, those Blood Oath casters are still a huge problem if you decided to skimp on your resist spells skill.
So you need a backup plan.
Which is why some of the most flexible Sampire templates actually include the healing skill, just for those moments when the Life Leech engine gets turned off.